Imagine waking up one morning to find that every digital dollar, every Bitcoin, every crypto token you own has been replaced overnight. Not stolen, but swapped. Exchanged into a brand new digital currency you never chose, created by the US government. Your wallet still opens, the balance looks familiar. But it's not yours anymore. It's part of a centralized system, one with rules, tracking, and control. That's the nightmare scenario Russia says is coming. According to recent reports and statements, the United States is allegedly preparing a $37 trillion crypto reset, a total overhaul of the global digital currency system. If true, it would be the largest financial shift in human history, one that could reshape money itself. But is it real? Or just geopolitical theater? Let's find out. To understand the idea of a crypto reset, we have to go back to the origins of crypto itself. When Bitcoin was created in 2009, it was a rebellion against the financial establishment. The world had just endured the global financial crisis, banks collapsed, governments bailed them out. Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper offered an alternative, a decentralized peer-to-peer system that couldn't be manipulated by central banks or politicians. It was the first money that didn't belong to anyone, and because of that, it threatened everyone who built power from controlling it. Over the next decade, that threat grew. Ethereum introduced smart contracts. DeFi allowed people to lend, borrow, and trade without banks. NFTs turned art into code, and stablecoins began replacing the dollar in online markets. For the first time, a new financial world existed beyond government reach. And that's exactly why the old ones started to fight back. Central banks began designing their own versions of crypto CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies. The digital yuan, the digital euro, and the proposed digital dollar all share one feature: total traceability. Every transaction recorded, every wallet identifiable. It's programmable money, not free money. At the same time, regulators around the world tightened their grip. KYC, AML, and surveillance tools turned exchanges into checkpoints. Privacy coins were delisted. DeFi projects faced legal action. Crypto was no longer the Wild West, it was being tamed. And that's when the idea of a reset started to emerge. Financial analysts, think tanks, and government advisors began floating a radical possibility. What if, instead of trying to regulate crypto into submission, we just absorbed it? What if we created a single, unified digital system backed by the state and forced every coin, token, and wallet into compliance? That, according to Russia, is exactly what the United States is preparing to do. The number sounds absurd: $37 trillion. That's more than the entire GDP of the US, more than the total value of all cryptocurrencies ever created. So what does it mean? Russia's claim isn't just about crypto, it's about digital assets in general, everything that can be tokenized, from stocks and bonds to real estate and gold. They allege that America is planning to merge these systems under a new centralized digital dollar, effectively rebooting global finance. And while the figure might be exaggerated, the pattern isn't. The groundwork for such a reset already exists. Step 1. Control the infrastructure. Nearly all major crypto exchanges are US regulated or dependent on US-based systems. Even stablecoins like USDC and USDT rely on dollar reserves stored in American banks. Step 2. Shape the narrative. In the past few years, politicians and regulators have repeatedly described crypto as a threat to national security, a tool for crime, or a danger to the global economy. In other words, the setup for a crackdown. Step 3. Wait for the crisis. Every major financial reset in history begins with fear: the Great Depression, the collapse of Bretton Woods, the 2008 crash. When panic hits, governments gain permission to rewrite the rules, and crypto, volatile as it is, provides the perfect excuse. Imagine this: a global crash wipes out markets, Bitcoin plunges, banks freeze. In the chaos, the US announces an emergency plan, a digital dollar reset. All crypto assets, stablecoins, and digital holdings must be converted into the new US digital system to maintain stability. Exchanges execute forced swaps. Wallets connected to regulated services are automatically transitioned. Those who refuse are locked out. In a matter of weeks, decentralized finance becomes centralized under one system, one currency, one rulebook. That's the core of the Russian allegation. Not that it's happening tomorrow, but that the mechanisms already exist and the trigger could be pulled at any time. But why would Russia make this claim now? The answer lies in geopolitics. Since 2022, Western sanctions have isolated Russia from the global financial system. Crypto became both a loophole and a liability. While individuals could move funds freely, Russian institutions found themselves blocked by US-influenced exchanges. By accusing America of planning a reset, Russia achieves several goals. It paints the US as a financial dictator. It warns its citizens and allies not to trust Western crypto systems. And it justifies its own push toward digital sovereignty, the development of the digital ruble, and alliances with China's digital yuan system. In short, it's both a warning and a weapon. But let's entertain the possibility that there's a grain of truth. Could the US government really pull off a $37 trillion reset? Technically, yes, if we consider how interconnected the system has become. Most crypto assets pass through regulated platforms. Smart contracts rely on oracles. Stablecoins depend on fiat reserves. And the majority of blockchain infrastructure from AWS servers to developer APIs is controlled by American companies. Crypto may be decentralized in theory, but in practice it runs on centralized rails. If the government decided to enforce a transition through regulation, taxation, or network control, it could effectively reset the ecosystem. The fallout would be catastrophic, prices would collapse. Confidence in digital assets would vanish overnight, legal battles would erupt over property rights and asset seizure, and billions in private wealth could evaporate in the name of stability. But it wouldn't end there. A centralized digital currency would give governments unprecedented power, the ability to track every transaction, freeze accounts instantly, and even program money to expire or restrict spending. What began as a financial solution could end as a tool of surveillance. And that's what terrifies not just Russia but millions of ordinary people around the world. Yet resistance wouldn't die quietly. Decentralized networks, privacy coins, and alternative chains could rise again. Developers would build systems outside state reach. Nations hostile to US control, China, Iran, even parts of Africa and Latin America might form their own digital alliances. A new digital Cold War could begin, one side built on surveillance, the other on secrecy, and the front lines wouldn't be fought with tanks but with code. Look back through history and you'll see the pattern. When power is threatened, systems reset. When gold restrained governments, they left the gold standard. When fiat lost trust, they invented quantitative easing. And when citizens sought freedom through crypto, the system found new ways to reclaim control. Money changes shape, but power never disappears. It adapts. So what happens next? No one knows if the $37 trillion reset is real, exaggerated, or pure propaganda. But the warning is worth listening to, because even if the number is false, the direction is true. The world is moving toward digital currency controlled by states, privacy is shrinking, autonomy is vanishing. And the dream of decentralized money, the one that started with Bitcoin, is being rewritten before our eyes. 3 lessons stand out. First, power always recenters itself. Decentralization is fragile. Unless it's defended, it becomes just another layer of the system it tried to replace. Second, infrastructure is control. Whoever owns the exchanges, the servers, the standards owns the future of money. And third, awareness is defense. If citizens don't understand what's happening, they'll never realize when the reset begins. The story of the $37 trillion reset isn't just about crypto, it's about freedom, the freedom to choose what money is, how it works, and who controls it. If history tells us anything, it's this. Financial empires fall not when their money runs out, but when their people stop believing in it. Share this message, stay informed, and remember, the future of money won't be decided by governments or algorithms. It will be decided by those who dare to question them.